Hello and welcome. I am so glad to be here with you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Janine Halloran, and I am the founder of Coping Skills for Kids and the author of the Coping Skills for Kids Workbook and the Coping Skills for Kids flip chart. So my area of interest and expertise is all about teaching kids coping skills and how do we help them learn different ways to cope with stress or anxiety or anger in healthy and safe ways at home and at school, wherever they are, wherever they might be. So I'm excited because one of the things that I always find myself doing, in my books, I have a lot of worksheets, right? So what I like to do is I like to print them out, and sometimes I laminate them so I can reuse them over and over. And so one of the things that I was really excited about was the ability to actually create a flip chart using some of my go-to coping skills, my go-to strategies that people can use. And I'm excited because there's so many cool ways that you can use a flip chart, and it has some of my favorites. So this is the Coping Skills for Kids flip chart. I'm really excited about it because it's really bright and colorful, and I have divided it up into the different strategies that I typically always use. So I talk about relaxation strategies, I talk about distraction strategies, movement, sensory, and all of those are in the flip chart. So that's pretty exciting. I really enjoy that piece of it. So the thing that I like to do with kids is when I'm working with them, I like to have the worksheets, right? But sometimes it can get really repetitive and really boring to continue and wasteful and continue to print out all the worksheets and then have to always be finding them and reusing them. So the beauty of the flip chart is that it is a dry erase flip chart. So I'm actually going to show it to you in just a second. Again, so it has a dry erase. So it is dry erase. I'm going to actually check something off on it so you can see. So this page is all about deep breathing strategies. I love having deep breathing strategies for kids. And so say I'm working with a child and I want to talk with them about deep breathing strategies. So on this side of the flip chart, there is information for you as the therapist. There's information for you to understand the benefit of breathing, talk about different ways that you can deep breathe. And on the cute, colorful side, kids get a chance to check off the things that work for them. So maybe the child likes to blow bubbles as they breathe out. So they can check it off. Isn't that cool? So it's just with the dry erase marker, and then you can erase it and get ready for the next kid. The thing that I like to do when I use the dry erase markers and, if I'm laminating or if I'm using something like the flip chart, what I like to do is actually take pictures of it so that I can keep a track of what the children in the work that I'm doing, track of what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what their different ideas that they're having. So it helps me be able to help them figure out what's going to work for them in the moment, because every kid is different. I talk about this all the time. Every kid has different ways of coping, just like they have learning. So what are the ways that work for this particular child that I'm seeing as a private client? Okay, so I want to make sure I'm going through and picking out those strategies that work for them. And that helps me keep track of it. I really like taking pictures of things because it makes it easier for them to be able to keep a note of what's working, and easier for me to keep a note of what's working. Because, as things go on, time changes, kids get older, strategies change. Maybe we've tried something that didn't work then when they were younger, but now it might work 6 months later. Who knows? So I like to keep my options open. So the flip chart has a bunch of my favorite strategies. So I'm just going to go through a couple of them to give you an idea of some strategies that you might be able to use. So one strategy I absolutely love is imagine your favorite place. And the reason why I love this strategy is that it's one of those invisible coping skills that kids don't have to necessarily tell people in their life, in the world where they are, that they are using this skill. Kids always want invisible coping skills. And the older kids get, the more they want those invisible coping skills that they can use wherever they are, but nobody knows that they're using it. So I like to be able to give you a little bit more information. So for instance, on Imagine and Draw Your Favorite Place, sometimes it's helpful for you as the therapist, for you as the counselor, the adult working with the child, to be able to give them some prompts of things that they can think about when they are imagining and drawing or writing about their favorite place. So some prompts I like to make sure that I invite therapists to use to tell your clients, where are you? What's under your feet? Is it light or dark? What are the things that you smell? What are the things that you feel? Are there things that you're tasting there because it's your favorite place? Just going through all of those senses and all of those different things to really bring that favorite place to light. Because when you can imagine your favorite place, it's like taking a mini vacation wherever you are. It's phenomenal for kids to be able to do that. And especially if you're sitting down and you're getting a little bit stressed out in the middle of a test, to take a few minutes and imagine your favorite place and then jump back in. Or if you're about to give a presentation and you get a little bit nervous, think about your favorite place. And there are other strategies you can use as well, but it's something that can really help calm a child, or if they're feeling overwhelmed by something, to have them imagine their favorite place. So what is neat about this with the flip chart is that you then also have this space for them on the other side. So they get to draw on this. They get a chance to draw and write about a place that makes them feel calm and relaxed. And because it's the dry erase, they can use all different colors. They can use all different kinds of shapes. They can do so much fun stuff with that. And then once they're done drawing their favorite place, what you can do is take a picture of it. And then you can save that for later. You can actually send it to them, send it to their family member, send it to their caregiver so that they have that favorite place as well, so that they know what that is. And speaking of family members and caregivers, so one of the other things that's really challenging about coping skills is that you can talk about it in therapy, you can talk about it in a session at school or in your office, but that translation into using it for the adult, the parents. How do the parents use it? How do the caregivers use it? So on each of these strategies that's in this book, there's a parent and caregiver note. So for instance, right down here, so it gives you a little bit more information about what they can do. So this one, in terms of imagining and drawing your favorite place, you want families to encourage that conversation about what do they see, what do they hear, what do they feel, what do they smell. And if necessary, if it's possible, families can take pictures. Like if you're on vacation and you found a favorite place, I encourage families to take pictures and be able to use that to recall that favorite place. I actually have a client who they love Hilton Head, South Carolina. So they always go every year and it's phenomenal. And it's one of their favorite places. So this past year, what I said was take a picture. And sometimes he has a hard time falling asleep at night. So something that might help him is imagining his favorite place. So next to his bed, he has a Hilton Head spot that he absolutely loves. So when he's having a hard time maybe imagining his favorite place, he can look at that picture of Hilton Head. So that's a way that you can help families to be able to start to use these coping skills at home as well. And Catherine, I see that your statement. I feel like it could be used and work with adults as well. Yes, I agree with you. The thing about coping skills is I've found over time that strategies that we use with kids can be used with teenagers and can be used with adults. Maybe we frame it a different way. Maybe we talk about it in a different way, talk about it in a deeper understanding to help especially teens and adults understand the why underneath why we're trying these coping skills. But it's really the same sort of strategy, just altered and changed in a different way for the different ages. So absolutely, I use Imagine and Draw my favorite place all the time. I have pictures of my favorite place. In fact, my phone background is one of my favorite places. So we use these strategies as adults, just like we can teach them to the children that we work with and the children that we're raising, but we can use these strategies as adults too. There's nothing to prevent us from doing that. And I think about coping skills for adults as like sort of self-care for us. So that way we can really think about what are those things that are going to be helpful to us and make it so that we can do those fun things. We can be present and available for the kids in our lives. So there's other strategies that I like to use in that are included in the flip chart. So I love playing. I think playing is a great thing to do. And I've got the game dots where you're drawing lines, and it's something that you can do together with kids and see if they enjoy it. But I love it because you could just erase it and start again. Or if you make a mistake, you can erase it and start again. And there's lots of things around movement. So, doing things like small body movements, squeezing your hands and releasing them, or being able to do something like a little movement that's fun, like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. In terms of sensory skills, there's lots of things you can do. And there's even a picture of a calming jar, so you can put all those things. You could have kids write the things that are upsetting them or on their mind and have them think about the jar and the glitter settling to the bottom. And then processing, which is one of my, most important strategies, I think, is really one of the most important styles, because that's where we really focus on like, what are the things that are going to be harder for kids? Let's identify those things. Let's make a plan. Let's talk about how you're feeling, because that is such an important part of self-regulation, to be able to think about what are the things that, how am I feeling? Being able to name it out loud immediately leads to it making it easier for you to self-regulate, for kids to self-regulate. So there's a whole page all about how you're feeling and helping kids identify their feelings. And for those kids who are worriers, there's a page about a worry box. So I hope I've given you some ideas and some strategies of things that you can use, of ways that you can think about helping kids use these strategies and use these skills. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I wanted to mention about the flip chart. So it actually has this like little tented place, so you can actually have it stand right up, which I think is the coolest thing ever. So it stands up. So when you're working as the therapist, you have that side where you can read all the information, get a lot of good details, get some hints, and get your strategies that you can give to the parents. And then on the other side, you have all those beautiful spaces where kids can use their dry erase markers. And I typically like to use the dry erase markers that have a little eraser on the end, because it makes it a little easier. I really like that piece of it. So it feeds my creative side. It feeds my fun side, when I can actually be able to do that sort of stuff as well. And there's also places where you can just ask kids to come up with, generate their own ideas about what strategies they will want to work on and strategies they already have. Because kids do have coping skills. Some kids really do have some coping skills already. It's just helping them make that connection to what are those skills that I can use in the moment when I'm feeling mad, when I'm feeling frustrated, when I'm feeling sad. So I'm excited to be able to share it with you. I'm excited to be able to share some of my favorite coping skills and coping strategies. And I'm not sure if there's anything else that I wanted to share about this, but I'm just so thrilled that it's here, and it's fun, and it's an interactive way that you can work on coping skills for kids. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful day.